Welcome to Building Manenos, the show about construction in Kenya. My name is Nicholas Mutavi.
And I am architect Sylvia Kasanga. Welcome to our show.
Let's start by you telling us about yourself for the audience so that whoever is watching at home can get a brief about what you do.
Well, I am an architect, 20 years experience, thereabouts. I'm still shocked at the time period it has been. I've worked on various different kinds of projects, from residential, commercial, institutional, schools, universities, and the likes. Yeah, and I've spoken in many forums about building and construction. I have advised many people. I've written papers as well, and I've participated in my associations.
Well, what would you say is the first thing someone should do, or what's the first thing one should look out for?
Yes, Nick, we need to acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of mystery around building and construction.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Isn't it? And we know Kenyans, we love to build our homes because we are homeowners.
Yes.
So the first mystery, of course, is beginning with the ownership of the land, because where do you build a home without the land? So the first big thing we need to unravel here is how do you get the land? How do you get to choose the land and things like that, Nick? Yes.
What should be the first things I should be looking out for?
Well, the first thing you must do is your due diligence. We've had a lot of cases around land issues. So you have to do your due diligence. Get a lawyer who will advise you on what needs to be done on the transfer and, making sure that the land is in good standing by the time you buy it. And of course, make sure it is in the right location where it shall serve you very well.
And does it mean I get a lawyer for the same party, the seller and the buyer, or do we get separate lawyers for each?
Always advisable to get your own lawyer. Okay. Don't mix the two. Your intentions are all very different. You intend to build a home. He intends to make a sale. It's important that you get your own lawyer, then who advises you accordingly. Okay. Very important. And that's a step that a lot of Kenyans tend to miss in the hope of saving some money.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So first, you get your own lawyer. You identify the land. Yes. So if I have identified the land, I've gotten a lawyer, then I get the lawyer to do the paperwork. Yes. Okay. Yes. And then from there, now, what are the key things I should check out? Because I don't know, as a buyer, I don't know even if the lawyer does his paperwork. What should I look out for? Well,
it's important that you know where your land lies. So you have to see it physically. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you have to see the beacons. Yes. That is the extent of your land, and it has to match with whatever papers that has been brought to you. Okay. And what your lawyer helps you to do then is do the background search. We have a lot of reports that, highlight, a lot of issues. Is it in the riparian? You saw the issues of riparian land.
Yes.
And you saw the issues of the Dungu report. Okay. So you have to get a lawyer who can do all that background search, as well as in the Ministry of Lands, where you know how everything is so chaotic. So you need a good lawyer to make sure that they can search for you.
So what are the compliance requirements when you're getting the land?
So again, like I mentioned earlier, it's important that you get advice from your lawyer by doing his due diligence. Yes. So then you can know where are the river lines. Okay. What will your building lines look like? Okay. And those are things that can be brought forward long before even you put your final, payment of check. So you know that this land is near a road, so you will have to forgo so much meters of land if you should do a construction on it, or it's on a river line. So then what you need to do. So those are statutory requirements that is important that you should know before you buy that land.
And would you say if I'm looking to buy a property for building a residential, what are some of the things that as buyers we are not aware of, but could impact us in the future? For example, I want to build a 2-story house. Is there land segmentation or division in the country that has or allows you to do that or not?
Yes. Building codes. Okay. What you're asking about is about building codes. And a lot of Kenyans tend to ignore this part, or maybe they don't know. Mm-hmm. But every land is zoned. Okay. We have zoning that is done on the land master plan, land use. Okay. And every zone prescribes how much you can build, whether it's on the ground or vertically. Okay. So you have to know that. Or, you can only do 1 unit per quarter acre or 1 unit per half acre, So you need to know what is the zoning regulation around where you're buying a plot. So you don't make a mistake of buying half an acre and thinking you can put your siblings 3 houses on that half an acre, and yet it's just a single unit per half an acre zone. So it's a zoning policies.
And is this zoning advice given from the lawyer side, or is it from the architect side, or where does one get this information from?
Zoning they come with the land use title.
Oh.
They're actually usually stipulated within the land use
Okay.
title. It is there in the title deed if you
Okay.
read clearly. And if it is not there, then it can be inquired through your lawyer at the lands ministry. You can inquire that.
So meaning that the first thing when you're looking out to buy land, you should understand the zoning of the area,
Absolutely.
because that will affect what you build eventually.
Absolutely, Nick. That is
Fantastic.
very critical as a first step.
Okay.
Yes.
What other compliance requirements are there?
Other than the usual, which the lawyers will advise you of the transfer documents and stamp duty and all that, it's very imperative that as a buyer of land, before you even begin to do anything, you get all your papers right.
Okay.
And that's where the lawyers become very critical. And when you have your own lawyer, you know you cannot go wrong.
Okay.
Once you have your papers, then now you can move to the next step.
Wonderful. So you've had it. So there are a few elements you need to know about when you're buying land. Go through them very well. Get your own lawyer. Get your lawyer to advise you on what you need to do, and also check on the codes, because it's important. You don't want to buy land after you've bought, you realize you can't build the house you wanted to build.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Now we're going to move into a second episode where we talk more about how do we acquire professionals like an architect, a surveyor. What do they come in and play? Which roles do they play? Hey guys, thank you for watching. So keep it tuned, share, like, subscribe. Cheers.